Good Friday morning, everybody. Well, actually, it's almost afternoon. And for those in the future, happy Saturday. And for those who are new, we are rambling. So I'm not really sure the direction that we are going in. I say that a lot. I say that I'm not really clear on the direction I'm going in, where this channel's going in, where who knows? And it's okay for us not to know exactly. The messages I've been getting before I get into the current events, which it's mind-blowing what they, whoever they is, want us to pay attention to. Mind-blowing. And I really am being drawn to the fact that it's pulling away from what I want to focus my attention on to. And we're in this push and pull place. We want to see a change happen in our world. I expanded it. I was going to say just the U.S., but it's the world and the U.S. because the U.S. at one time supported so many good causes, even though we had a lot of issues with that, and now that's gone. That's gone. Everybody seems to be like on their own. And last Wednesday, when I said that I need to rethink my charitable causes and how I donate to certain charities, because I used to say, oh, I'd just give them, $100, and then another couple of months or 6 months, give them another $100. Now it's like, no, you've got to step up. I'm talking about me. I have to step up and do more on a consistent basis. And some of you have, and some of you put that in the comments on how we are stepping up and how you are stepping up. And it wasn't as any kind of brag or anything like that. Thank you. It was more of a, we can do this. We can step up. One of the things that I remember when I was actually coaching business people, I said, when you want to set aside some money for a project, don't think of it as like, I'm going to set aside $1,000 for this project every month. It's like, ugh, sometimes you can't do it. But if you take 10%, less than 10% of whatever you're getting in, however that is, and some of us, it's really challenging. Some of us, it's not that challenging. So, but 10%, maybe it's a Starbucks coffee. I don't go to Starbucks. But maybe it's a treat that you would get for yourself that you don't really need to go out and spend. You can do it at home or something. Anyway, 10% is easy to do. And well, again, and that was back, come to think of it, that was back in 2008 when things were really contracting. So it's easier to do that increment. Just think about it and see where that money can be served to other people. All right, so I want to put some cards out there. Because I'm rambling, I'm off on different subjects. The other thing too that has been tapping into my awareness is the synchronicities of things. Pay attention to them, and sometimes you have to listen to them twice because we don't pay attention the first time. So it's important to pay attention to them. And you can say, is that something I should act on or not? and then it comes into your awareness again. Maybe I should act on it. And then when it comes in for the third time with a hammer or a 2x4 in your backside, you go, whoa, Lordy, I think I need to act on this. Yeah, so you want to do it before the 2x4 on your backside gets there. For example, little rambling story. I just got back from Oregon, and I had a light on my dash, and so I took it to the Ford dealer, which they did absolutely nothing for except charge me. And the guy goes, well, we did find that you had 2 nails in 2 different tires. And I went, what? He goes, yeah. I'm like, good Lord. Good Lordy. That could have been bad, And so they go, yeah, we can't fix it. You're the Ford dealer. What do you mean you can't fix it? So I had to take it to another place, a tire professional. So there my van is sitting there, which is a good thing because we use that van a lot, and we go on trips where sometimes I'm doing 80 miles an hour. These days, a lot slower, but that could have been bad. So it actually turned out good, and I could have gotten really, really, really upset with that, but I looked at it like, oh, well, at least I got a warning from it, and I paid attention to it. I got another warning with, hey, you got nails in your tires and you need to take it to a professional. Thought I was taking it to a professional. Anyway, so you get the point. Let's drop it down to some cards. My cards that I'm using from last night that bleed into the morning. The decks that I'm using, very interesting. The 5th Tarot, and I have to use the book because it's got 5 suits. And so I go, what are you talking about? The other deck I have, hang on, is The Way of the Cartouche. And again, I have to use the book on this because, well, not on this particular card, but because it is so new to me. And again, with the synchronicities, what is up with Egypt? So I've been playing with these cards and I go, these are really, really good cards. And Mary over at Earth and Stars said that she was drawn towards this image of Cleopatra. And I'm like, I'm holding on to my Egyptian cards, and she talks about that, thinking, okay, maybe I need to dig into those a little bit more. Anyway, let's get into the cards that I pulled from last night. I'm going to drop this down. This is a good ramble, I think, I hope. So the first card I pulled last night, and this was the intention of the card pull for me is when I can't sleep and I wake up in the middle of the night, I think about the card and the path of the card. And so the first card I get is the 7 of Lotus, the Divine Blueprint. Lotus, interesting enough for those who follow this channel a little bit, the Queen of Cups and Kamala is the Lotus. She should have been the POTUS. And now some are saying, hey, she's coming back. And I go, really? Really? She's thinking about it. Okay, well, thinking is not doing. And I don't know. I'm not going to go into that yet because I think there are... again, I'm seeing her as AG or Secretary of State, or She could be good on the Supreme Court too. Anyway, moving on. The Seven of Lotus. This is the divine blueprint. So when I think of this and I think of, oh, what's going on in the world today? What's this? What's that? I drop into the divine blueprint and I go, oh, okay, so there's a plan that I'm just not seeing? Yes, there is a blueprint. Well, are we looking at the blueprint? Yeah, maybe not. What are we looking at? Are we looking at the blueprint, or are we looking at what other people are trying to show us is the blueprint? I don't know. Number 3, we get the 3 of fire, and it says spontaneity. I want to read a little from the book because I thought it was pretty interesting. The 1 of fire, we are struck by the cobra. So this would be the Ace of Wands. In the 2 of fire, we are struck by lightning. Here in the 3 of fire, we are struck by the beauty of the fire bush. Yet, when we touch its brilliant foliage, we may be surprised. So it's not only noted for its passion and beautiful color, but its stinging mechanisms and protections that will get our attention. And I said, okay, if we look at the divine blueprint, we can see the passion and the beauty and the spontaneity that's going to come from this blueprint. However, watch the spontaneity. We may be going a little too far, a little too not far, getting too close to the thorns. And then for the cartouche deck, and here's the page here, we get earth. And I just stop there. I go, okay, Danny, ground yourself. Stay grounded. Grab your stones. This looks like bamboo to me, but again, I don't know much about Egypt, so I'd have to look. Could be corn stalks. I will go with bamboo and or corn, and your stones as I look at all my stones that I have here. And I was thinking, you need to rearrange them and clean them up. And so I did, and it's still in the same place that they were. So there that is. There is a divine blueprint. There is some spontaneity that needs to happen. Watch out for the thorns and pay attention to the energies of earth, to the grounding energies of earth. Also, with those crystals. Pull up my sail crystal. Isn't that a cool one? Lemurian sail crystal. You can see the ridges. It's not like a potato chip or ruffles. Anyway, pay attention to not only the energy of the earth and the crystals, but the knowledge within the crystals. So as we drop into the grounding of energy and get quiet and get listening to the divine blueprint, tap into your crystals to see what is the higher purpose message. And for me, a lot of it is the Lemurian energy, but certainly Palladian energy, Arcturian energy, all of that stuff, which we are not going to go into today. All right, let me hit pause. Well, I'll be back. Okay, back. Hardly knew I was gone. So as I was pulling out the decks that I wanted to use tonight, I was thinking to myself, I go, well, how'd you like that ramble, Danny? And then I thought of Good Will Hunting. You like rambles? How do you like that ramble? Bam. All right. That was so funny. Let's move on. Light Seers Tarot Wicked Moon Tarot. I pulled the Wicked Moon because I wanted it. Let's get down and dirty into this. And then Wicked Moon is so light. The last Wednesday, I felt, hey, you didn't give much hopium, Danny. It was kind of dark, a little Danny darkish. And I went, okay, so we'll try to do some more hopium. Just the craziness of the news. And I want to first look at the redistricting of Virginia. So the Virginia Supreme Court said that the redistricting plan that would have given Democrats more congressional seats was unconstitutional, and it was state unconstitutional. They didn't follow the procedures. And I'm thinking to myself, is anybody in the federal government following procedures? Hell no. But the states still are trying. They haven't caught up, I guess. So even though this can be reversed, we're getting so close to midterms. I got my ballot today. And before I really get into it, please, 5 calls. Make your calls to your representatives. It does matter. Tell them how angry you are without the emotion, because then they just kind of hang up on you, I think. But, and maybe with the emotion. I don't know. We don't need any more strongly worded letters, if you know what I mean. So maybe some good emotion would be good. Good emotion. Good trouble. So, call your reps. Let them know. Pick 2 things that you're really upset about. This redistricting thing, where the Republicans are going to try to stay in control of Congress because Trump is so freaked out about a Democratic House of Representatives and Senate. Oh my God. If we get the Senate, he in big trouble. Ooh, would be on a new journey. Oh, look how happy she is. Yeah, we got the House and the Senate, and we're on a new path. Woohoo! All right. I didn't look at the other card. Uh-oh. So what I want to look at is, I was like, oh no, when I read it. And then I went, but he is so unpopular. The policies that they're putting in are so unpopular. Will it even matter? Congress has done nothing except go on vacation. Moses Mike just kept pulling people off the floor, congressional people off the floor, and said, oh yeah, I don't want to look into this, so we're going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we're still paying them. So what I want to look at is the redistricting. Is Pumpkinhead's policies so horrible that these redistricting measures will fail? My hopium says yes. My little Danny Dark says, you guys know where that comes from? Danny Dark, it's like Donnie Dark. But what was it? It was a play. Butterflies are free for you thespians out there. Okay. Here we go. Will, not Goodwill Hunting, will how many times can one watch a movie? Because I think I've watched that one like 3 or 4 times, and I'm going, oh, I think I'd like to watch it again. Okay. How is this redistricting going to go for Republicans? How is the redistricting going to go for the Republicans to retain control of Congress. How is this going to go? How is this going to go? The redistricting, moving back and forth. How are we going to shape up with this? One of the things that just I remember hearing, and we're all getting such a civics lesson in our government, but I always thought that at a certain time you can't be doing redistricting and going back and forth. And I think Louisiana already started voting and they're changing this. Thank goodness for Mark Elias doing his government pushback with his law firm. I think it's Mark Elias. Okay, how is this going to turn out for the Republicans, this redistricting? Abuse of power, the Five of Swords. Yes, I hear you, thank you. What is this woman crowning? It looks like, I have a deck called the White Newman deck, and it looks like it's a Newman. Not a Seinfeld Newman. Different one. Oh, Newman. Seven of Pentacles. Okay, I'm going to drop this down and kind of focus on the cards. Yeah, okay, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so normally a Seven of Pentacles in different decks has different feelings to it. There are some decks where the Pentacles are all dead, and there's one on the ground that is golden. And I think that's the Lightseer's Tarot. Well, anyway, the other one is abundance, and they've got a basket full of pentacles and votes. This one is watching things fly away. They think, and this is where I think we're going, they think, the Republicans, the ones that are battling, think they are crowning something. We got this now. We got the votes. And when I look at this, watch the woman watching the butterflies fly away. Or is it bees? I said butterflies, so I think it's bees though. So there's something that they think they have, but they don't have it. Let's see where we get with this. The Sun card, full illumination, sitting at the base. In the past is the Two of Cups, celebration. The past is celebrating. At the top of the reading is the Two of Swords, the crossroads. And in the potential near future, we have the Five of Cups. This is where I think we're where we are right now. Crying over spilled milk, the three spilled cups. But we don't see that the rabbit is eating out of one of the cups, and there's another cup that's full, but we're just like, oh, wah. Crying over spilt milk, but we still have two cups. The internal position, moving on to calmer waters. External position, the Ace of Swords. New truth, new beginning. Are the Republicans going to be able to control the House with this gerrymandering, or is Trump's policies so bad that it doesn't matter? I think they're going to have to look at the truth And it's going to take a while for Republicans to go, you know what? I'm going to vote for a Democrat. Or it's going to take a Democrat to flip to an independent to get that vote. It almost feels like we need a new political system, not Republican, Democrat, because we're too divided and too polarized. All right, hopes and fears. That we have the Three of Wands showing up. And the Three of Wands is information. It could be coming from overseas. This one doesn't really feel like it's overseas, but this Three of Wands, this granny witch is going to, granny witch. Just thought of Celtic Sheila, the granny witch. She gets a new broom. It's almost like an Ace of Wands. She gets a new start, a new broom, new zoom. And, are the Republicans going to be able to keep the House, or is Trump's policies so devastating that they can't do it? What do we get? We get women dancing around the maypole. We get the Ten of Cups. This is my democracy card, the Ten of Cups. If it was the Ten of Pentacles, that would be Republican. We get compassion, we get emotion, we get flow, we don't get stagnation. It's being challenged by, however, Four of Swords. Not challenged, clarified, by Four of Swords. And this is retreat, this is loss in a way. Okay, so we are dancing, but then we go, oh my gosh, but things didn't really go out as they thought. And then we get the King of Wands. We get new information coming. We get a new sense of what needs to happen in the House of Representatives in Congress. And I wonder if this is both Senate and the House of Representatives that this is going with, especially with this Four of Swords. Let's do a little clarification on this Four of Swords. What is the retreat? What is the... let's just do some underline first. We have the Star of Hope. We have the King of Pentacles with a skull mask on. We have walking away from sorrow to find oneself. We have balance, and one more, and then I got to flip it over. A new emotional start, overflowing with emotion. So the underlying feeling with this spread, even though that's there, is that with a lot of push and pull, a lot of anxiety, we are going to have a more balanced, fair system. Although it may not feel exactly what we want it to feel like, it's going to be pretty dang good with the lovers, with the Star of Hope, the best of humanity. We do have Punkin, but he's walking away, hoping to find himself. But at least we'll have balance and a new emotional start. Okay, so one of the things I was thinking of was, could Punkinhead have a Kundalini moment where he wakes up and says, oh good Lord, what have I done? I've been saying oh good Lord a lot lately. Why is that? Because we are on a new journey. That's why. Okay, so, and I decided, well, I came up with, no, he can't, because his soul contract is to break this down so that we can refashion this into a better system. If we keep fighting. And I was thinking about the fight that Gandhi did. I've never seen the movie. I should read the book. I just shit on myself. But I did, I did see a couple of snippets of that movie, and I saw when he was marching. I saw when he went in to speak to either the king or, I'm going to lift this back up, the king or some English government official. It's probably an ambassador or something. And then I did see him in a scene where somebody came up to him and, Gandhi, Gandhi, help us, help us. And he came out of his meditation room, it looked like. And he was simply dressed, and his wife or his daughters, or I don't know much about him, sorry, came to get him, and he walked out like barefoot and so humble. And I went, the three faces of peace. And one is the meditation, the other is marching, and the other is diplomacy. Speaking of diplomacy, Pope and Rubio. Okay, let's get back to this. What does this Four of Swords mean for us in the redistricting? Just 3 cards. What does this Four of Swords mean? As I look at this deck, this card, it's not the person that is in the tomb. It is the people looking at what was. This was what we could have been, but we failed. And so let's honor what it could have been, and let's rebuild. That's what I'm getting. I'm going to pull 3 anyway because I said I would. 8 of Cups, Page of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. So yeah, we're walking away from the old system that no longer serves us. We have a new system that we are going to start on, and we're going to make mistakes on this page. Not to say that this page makes mistakes. Didn't mean to imply that. And we are going to be working together with Republicans. Pentacles to me are more of a Republican type thing, but we're going to be working together to rebuild something. And I don't know, that looks like Sasquatch. I don't know. So that's what I get. I get that the Republicans are, that we are going to have a new system. I'm not saying it's going to be a democratic system, and I'm not saying it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a Republican system. Maybe it's just going to be a more independent. We're going to have more independence in there. Phone agrees. Okay, wow. This is a ramble. I've only done 1 spread in 34 minutes. Okay, so one of the things I was thinking about before, and I don't know if I'm going to read on it, so we'll just throw it out there for comments and see what you all think, is that I was looking at the role of fascism. And I said, so we are now in a fascist state. And when I actually looked up the word, I go, we are not in a fascist state. Punkinhead is not a fascist, because if he was a fascist, he would be doing things for the people. One ruler for the people, according to what I just read. And he's an authoritarian. He's not a fascist because he's only doing things to enrich himself and a small group of people around him, the 1%. So from Al Jazeera, fascism is not an ideology of choice for the US president. Fascism movements varied in their approach to political and economic issues, but they had several elements in common. The good of the nation is elevated above all, and the state plays an overarching role in society and the economy. Punkinhead may be using the language of America first in his rhetoric, but he's not really pursuing the good of the nation. He is pursuing the good of the 1%. So, let's look at the 1%. How are they going to feel after the midterms? The 1%. How are they going to feel after the midterms? Okay, so I'm not sorry about that. That was good news on my van. It's little part, no flats. Anyway, that was a squirrel moment. Why do you need to know that? Hey, speaking of squirrel moments, say hello to Psychic Duck, everybody. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. No, I did not forget about you. You didn't? Oh, hell no. All right. Hell no? I'm sorry. I'm a little tense up here. Just looking over everything from a different point of view. All right, so are the Democrats, are they going to have to, and going back to that fascist thing, for the good of the nation, thinking of the nation, are we headed that way? Are we headed that way? Just having a single rule and going, because our system is so broken, are they going to have to act the same way that it was, just in an opposite direction? Not for the 1%, but for the people. Yeah. 3 cards. Are the Democrats going to have to play a similar game to rebuild our nation that Punkinhead did to tear it down? Are the Democrats going to have to play a similar game? And isn't it funny? Game? No, it's not funny. Ooh. Whoa. I said 3 cards, and I'm just going to do that. So we have the 7 of Swords. The spy going in, sneaking, looking. Normally this is a guy that leaves with 5 swords, leaves 2. Leaving the camp defenseless. This one, he isn't in the camp. He's just scouting it out. He's just looking at it. He's going, I'm going to go take some of their defenses. That's kind of what he's thinking. And then we have the abuse, the manipulation. And so with this card, because I associate this card with Punkinhead a lot, being manipulated by Russia, by Netanyahu, by, I guess, should I say that? Neti Pot? Why'd I go there? Neti Pot. Sorry. So we have the 7 of Swords, watching the steal. We have the manipulation of things. And then we have the Nine of Cups, the wish card, the yay, the exuberance card. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to look at it two different ways. Hopium way, I'm like, yeah, we're watching how the devil manipulated things, and we are going to use that to our benefit. Let's look at it from a non-hopium way. We are watching the devil steal. I can't get over this card. This is still a wish card. You know, sometimes when you're doing hopium, there's just no other way to look at it. So, with that wish card though, the thing that came up to me is be careful what you wish for. Be careful of the play of watching how the devil did it, and then you kind of working that system the same way, because you can get caught in that. So, I'll just throw that out there. All right, let's look at Rubio. And then I'm going to look at Cash Patel, and then I'm going to be done. Let's look at Rubio. Rubio and the Pope. Bizarre. I saw a little clip of when he went in there and had this exchange, and it was, oh, it's been a while since I talked to you, maybe a year, and the Pope goes, no. I'm like, oh, okay. And the Pope is not going to take any of that. And then Rubio gives him a crystal football. Now, I'm like, couldn't you give him like a Rand piece? That would be better than a friggin' crystal football. What is the Pope going to do with a crystal football? I know if I was the Pope, I'd kick Rubio in his crystal footballs. That's what I would do. That's why I'm not Pope. Can you imagine if I was the Pope? I'd be sitting in the lap of luxury, drinking fine church wine. They had the nastiest, going back to my Catholic upbringing as a little altar boy. Could you imagine me as an altar boy, me with my long hair? Okay. But we would steal the wine. I was Irish Catholic, come on. And St. Louis Irish Catholic. So would go steal that wine, and it was the worst. I went back home to my dad, and I go, Dad, why don't you give the church some money so that they can get better wine? Okay. That was a ramble. That was a squirrel moment. So, what is Rubio walking away with? He says he's Catholic from meeting the Pope. There is a certain energy when you meet a person of that stature. Certainly, like if you would meet in the past the president, when the king came in to speak in Congress, there's a certain reverence and energy, aura, ether around them. Punkinhead's ether is like, woof, Lordy. Again with the Lordy. So, we are rambling. Did I tell you we're rambling? We're rambling. What did Rubio walk away with? I think I should use my other deck, my 5th tarot, to try to get a clearer sense of the ethers. But I'm going to use Light Seers, and maybe I'll flip. Oh, actually, it's not shuffling. I'm going to use the other deck. 3 cards with this one to show why I shouldn't use this deck. Oh, like that. Why shouldn't I use this deck on Rubio? Oh, number 1, it's coming out upside down. The Fool, upside down. But they're not all upside down. Interesting. 3 of Cups. Circles of support coming together. What did Rubio walk away with, and why shouldn't I use this deck? And then he's being tied up in the 2 of Swords. He's at a crossroads. Okay. I kind of think this is a good deck to use. I think that gave us some interesting information about that. What did huh, that is funny. So in this particular card, this woman is holding a crystal, kind of like a football. It's upside down though. So that was just, what do you think the Pope did with that crystal football? You know, Jesus does like football. That's why we pray to have our teams win and their teams lose. Jesus likes a winner. Okay. No, I have not been drinking, Psychic Duck asked. No. You've been drinking. No, I've not. You have too. No. Groot, let's switch you back over here. Thank you. This is way more comfortable for me. Yeah? I can see what you're sipping on. Nothing. Normally I don't have people looking over my shoulder when I do tarot, but a duck is different. Okay. Rubio, what did you walk away with from the Pope? From the meeting with the Pope? Hanged Man. Being covered by Ace of Wands. A new information, new path. 2 of them wanted to come out, and we got the Temperance card. He got angelic, calming messages. A new message from him. He's going to be thinking about this, I think. Yes, the Sun card. Let me drop this down so you can see. Sun card. And it's interesting, my finger's in the middle of that deck. That's kind of odd. Ace of Swords in the past. War! Charge! At the top of the reading, moving on to calmer waters, what did Rubio walk away with? And a new path forward. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. Slow, internally. Externally, 6 of Wands coming in as a winner. Riding hard, riding fast. In the Rider-Waite deck, it was similar to Jesus coming into Jerusalem during Palm Sunday. In this deck, there's Punkin head there. I got that was Rubio, but that could be Rubio riding Punkin head around. He's moving on though. He's finding himself going too fast for his. I mean, if he was Dumbo, it'd be flying off with those big ears. Hopes and fears, the Knight of Swords. that we can stop this, and the final outcome is meeting with the Pope. Ten of Pentacles. There is a celebration here of the old world. This is legacy money, but there seems to be a celebration, an awareness of what the church brings to his way of being. Clarified by the Three of Wands, getting a new broomstick, and the Page of Cups. Rubio walked away with a lot of interesting messages that he is trying to sort out with this Temperance card. He got a lot of illumination. There are things that came up, 2 sixes. There are things that came up that are where he's thinking of, okay, should I be moving on from this craziness that I find myself in? He's certainly upside down. He's certainly going, let me look at things from a different point of view. The Pope gave him something to think about. And why is that? Oh, those are my 3 cards. Okay, never mind. Okay. What is Rubio going to do with this new awareness? What is Rubio going to do with this new awareness? Is he going to walk away? Because I saw a couple of walking away cards. Oh, my phone's going. Yeah, he's going to walk away. Or is a good question. What is Rubio going to do with this new information he got from the Pope? What is Rubio going to do with this new information that he got from the Pope? What is Rubio going to do? Let's put the sail crystal on. Can he sail away? What is Rubio going to do? Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. The hard work. Let me lift this up. How come this is so low? There we go. Thank you. Eight of Pentacles. What's he going to do? The world. He's got the... Ooh. Good Lord. Judgment. The world. Judgment. Knight of Swords in the past. His fighting ways in the past. Again, he gets a new broomstick. What is he going to do? The Queen of Swords. He's getting some new truth. What is Rubio going to do? Internally, he's questioning the Emperor. Look at all that space out there. This reminds me of the Point. Harry Nielsen's The Point movie. And internally, this is my internal position. What is he going to do? He's getting such downloads from that Pope meeting, which is what I got before. He's getting huge downloads. Yeah. And it's not the Emperor. It's the Empress. It's the female. The female qualities, the divine feminine coming in. Externally coming in. Kind of getting into his headspace. Six of Wands, again, hopes and fears that he will actually do something, and the final outcome is Nine of Pentacles. Slow moving, but moving, with the Ten of Pentacles, and working together with something Okay, so these cards kind of got stuck together, and I didn't really stick them all because you have these two in the last one. But we have the Page of Pentacles at the base. We have Temperance, Balance, and we have the Ace of Wands. And one card from the center. What is the path that Rubio is on with this Knight of Pentacles? Wheel of Fortune. Well, that gives me a direction. Really? He's on a path. So as we look at the cat up there, and as we look at Temperance, both with their wings, I see him spinning around and not really jumping on his horse to go somewhere, but he's got his karmic destiny, going back to the very beginning of this reading. He's got his karmic destiny that he has to fulfill, but he is getting huge, huge downloads. And it is going to be something that he is slowly going to move towards. And maybe this isn't for the US, but maybe this is for his own personal development of where he's going. That he is going to walk away with a newfound download of the galactic energies. Because you know the Pope's got he's got some galactic energies. I should read on what galactic energies the Pope has. I was just looking at my past life galactic spread, which is kind of interesting. It is not a oh, you're a Lyran, you're a Palladian, you're an Arcturian, but it's because we are such hybrids. But it gives what is the general feeling or path that you are on at this moment in time? What is the current influences of your star family? So, what is Rubio? How, in this path that he has found himself, this awakening path, how does that impact our current government? Because I think he has like 6 or 7 jobs as our government. Isn't he the Secretary of State, Archivists, Press Secretary? He just got that one. Wouldn't it be funny if he showed up as boobification? My phone thinks it'd be funny. All right, let's see. What is he going to bring? How is he going to affect change in the government? If he is going to affect change now. Or is it going to be just slow moving? Ooh, Page of Swords. Judgment. 8 of Swords. Something happening fast. At first, when I got the Judgment card, I'm thinking, is that when he dies that he is going to get some clarification? Because he's still swinging. He's still being a little, it's the Page. So he's young, as we can see. Queen of Pentacles, security. The Star. Some readers call this the best of the US, and since we are reading on the US, I stole that meaning from some one of them. Final outcome. 2 of Swords. Okay, so the cards really aren't giving me He's wrestling with things. He's at a crossroads with this Two of Swords. But the thing with this card, he knows what the right path is. Is he taking it? We have, he's still looking out for the security of the U.S. Maybe his judgment is a little skewed because he's dealing with all these knuckleheads in the cabinet that are skewing his point of view, because he is such a young, impressionable kid with a sword. So he's letting these other cult members influence him too much. He needs to drop down into his inner security and find what is best for the world, for humanity, for himself. And he knows the right path, but he's not taking it yet. Okay. All right. So we are at an hour and 55 seconds. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for being with me on this Rambling Friday. For all you mothers out there, I hope you have a great Mother's Day. I'll be on Sunday for sure. And this, I may take another couple of breaks. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Peace and love.